Okay, Rachel, this is your first virtual lesson. There's a lot of basics that we can go over. This is the rudiments that I was talking about. I'm not going to get into all the rudiments and doing all this marching band stuff, but there are some basics that I really want to nail for you so that you have some more chops to bring to the drum set. It's going to give you a lot more options just for playing the Hillsong songs and also just coming up with your own stuff. That's Titus. So get your sticks, get your practice pad. This one, somebody left it on my front porch, so you can get a practice pad or you can get a couch pillow or a book or whatever, but just make sure you have something you can beat on that's not going to annoy your parents, you know. And I'm going to have to ask you to stop eating and sleeping and having fun and start drumming because we have a lot of stuff to do. Okay. This is just single strokes. It's basically what it sounds like. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you practice this, I want you to concentrate on having an even space between each stroke, so that you're so that you're not having, so that everything is really even. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't ever play like what I'm doing with my arms. I'm just trying to get so you can see the sticks and my face at the same time. And especially when you practice this on your drum, you'll be able to hear it a little bit better. You want the sound to be really even. You want your hands to be very relaxed. And I put the practice pad up about where I would have a snare drum if I was standing. The backs of your hands up. You're going to be using your wrists more than just your, you can see that I'm moving my elbows too, but my wrist is relaxed and it's moving. The stick is free to move in my hand. Most people hold your stick like this, find the fulcrum point, which is going to be basically the center of your drumstick, and hold your stick right there. On a Vic first stick, your thumb's going to be right about where Vic is. On your Pro Marks, it's going to be right about where that little band is, maybe a little bit higher. But just find the middle of the stick and put your thumb there. Now the stick is going to rest kind of down that little crack in your hand, that your love line, or I don't know, palm reading things, but it's going to fall right down there. You're only going to hold the stick with this middle portion of your finger and your thumb, just like that. Other than that, the stick is just free to bounce around. And this is where you're going to get a lot of your speed and a lot of your volume when you're just going to snap it. It's not because you're hitting it hard with your big guns or whatever. It's because you're whipping it with your wrist like that. And so this is the technique that you want to build. And this is going to make it too so that you're more relaxed and you're playing faster and you're playing louder if you need to. But you're not playing with a lot more effort. So you're working harder, you're working smarter, not harder. That's what I say. So single strokes. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Look at the sticks in my hands. That's what you want to shoot for, is just that whipping action. I'm doing no work, basically. Just letting these go. They're not even because I'm talking, sorry. And now, when you get these nice and even, nice and relaxed, and this isn't something that you're going to sit down and be like, okay, I got it, and then move on. This is something that you're going to practice for a while. And so I need you to start now. And I need you to remember that practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you practice something wrong, you're going to have it in your hands wrong. You're going to always play it wrong. So make sure that you're doing it right. You need to really start analyzing your movements, your, the fills, the riffs, everything that you're doing. Oh my goodness. He's so loud. You need to really start analyzing what you're doing and making sure that you're doing it right. And please feel free to ask me or ask another drummer if this looks right, if it sounds right. You really need to be open to having kind of a sounding board, really actively seeking out help and, making sure that you're doing things right so that you can have it right in your hands so that, just so you're doing it right. Just, that's life. That's with anything else. So, Once you master the single strokes and just very, very basic, very simple, very even, very correct with your hands, with your technique, we're going to start putting in accents. So I'm going to accent. Right now we're playing, let's call these 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then we're going to put the accent on right on the beat, so right on the 1, not the E and so it's going to be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and notice when I hit that accent, I'm not cracking down harder to hit the drum harder. I'm just coming from further away. I'm just letting the stick fall further. 1 E and so I'm not hitting it harder at all. The stick is it's just basically making its own velocity and just coming down harder. And so that's a technique that you want to take to your drum set so that you can, like we talked about the dynamics, you have to start small so that when you play something big, it really sounds big. Otherwise, everything's just big and you're just making noise and you don't have anywhere to go to build a song, which, as I mentioned before with Hillsong, it's really all about building the song. So we're going to put, once you master that, and I'm giving you a whole bunch of information. You can watch this over and over and you can build it up as you're comfortable or whatever, but I'm just going to give you a whole bunch of information that you can kind of just chew apart as you have time. I'm going to put the accent this time on the E, so it's going to be on the second beat, with the 16th note being 1 E, and it's going to be on the 1 E. So it's going to be your left hand if you're starting with, I'm assuming you're right-handed from your setup, but we'll start all these 16th notes with our right hand for now. So on the off beats are going to be on the left. So it's 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E and then basically what we'll do over a period of time is work our way through the 16th note pattern, putting an accent on the different hand. So once you master that one, it'll be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and all the way to 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and seriously, if you practice everything I just showed you over the course of, give yourself, at least 15 minutes a day just for this rudimentary technique stuff before you start working on your songs or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you practice every day. If you don't, you need to start. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you set aside, at least an hour of your own time just to practice on your own skills. If you're not, that's what you need to start doing. For the first 15 minutes of that practice time, it needs to be this stuff. Just everything we went over today. Don't feel like you have to get through the whole, going through 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and 2. Do the whole thing like that right now. Just practice on the very first day that you practice. I just want you to do this. And I just want you to look at your hands. I don't want to make sure that your hands are in the right position on your stick. I want to make sure that your wrists are doing that whipping motion. And I want you to make sure that everything is nice and even and nice and quiet and settled. You really need to have, basically, what I want you to work on is having a lot of control, not just of your sticks and the drum, but of your sound, of what's coming out of your instrument. And I want you to be very picky about what you hear. I want you to, like I said about working on your own skills, this is where you make a transition from being that girl that can play those songs, and you start to become that girl who's a really good drummer. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be developing your own chops, your own skills, just on the drum set. This is where you are perfecting your craft, your This thing blacked out. Okay. This is where you're perfecting your artistic abilities on your instrument. And so that's what we're working towards, because this is going to really develop you as a drummer as a whole, instead of just getting these songs down. Now I know that's very important to get these songs down, but I want to really instill some basics in you as we do that. So that's what my goal is. I'm going to go ahead and stop the tape here, but just to review, and like I said, watch this over and over, and practice it as you can. Don't move on to the next thing. Don't move on to the 1 E and 2 E and until you have, first of all, just basic single strokes down solid, and then the accent 1 E and 2 E and like I said, this takes a lot of practice. I mean, this exercise alone is going to take you, a lot further in your abilities, just because we're focusing on your hand technique, your stick placement. We're working on the volume that you're putting out, and we're working on a really controlled, even sticking pattern. And so work on this. If you have any questions, call me. Send me a Facebook question, whatever you got to do. Please don't get a video. I'm going to try to send you these pretty often. So if you get a video and you're just like, that Lacey chick's a total idiot, I have no idea what she's talking about, don't try to practice something that you don't understand, because I can explain it a different way, or show you something different. But I'm really just going to cram a whole bunch of information at you, and I need you to really try to read through it and really ask for help if you need it, because this stuff is really important. If you're really wanting to be good at what you're doing here, this stuff is really important. These are the basics. I didn't get any of the basics until later on, and I started playing the drums when I was 8 or 10 or something. Basically the same story as you. I got started when I was really young. I didn't really get the basics until I went to college, and so my foot technique was really behind. Really a lot of my hand and stick technique was really behind. I didn't get any of that until I was a couple of years older than you are now. So if we can get you into that, into these basics now, you're going to be ahead of the game. So do what you can. Call me if you need help, but this stuff is really important. You really need to nail it. So that being said, stop eating, stop sleeping, start drumming.